So I recently purchased this 4Runner on Saturday, and I've been looking for an older four-wheel drive Toyota for like 5 years now, like not really trying, but like if a good deal came up, I'd buy it. And this one finally came up for $500, so I got it. It's actually really clean. The paint's pretty good. No dents, there are dings. But the motor is locked up, but the motor looks so good, I really think that it may be a locked up torque converter, but I guess we'll see. A little shot of the inside I was trying to clean up a little bit. It's still really dirty, but not bad for the price. It is four-wheel drive, obviously. Had a big stain in the back seat. I got that out. Almost brand new tires, which I'll probably be changing anyway, but still there. Yeah, what I'm probably gonna do is drop the oil pan and see if there's any metal shavings in it. I drained the oil and it actually looks fine, so it's kind of puzzling to me. So I'm working on getting the front differential out. I'm gonna have to pull these axles. So first thing I did was do the center diff, and it's over there. That's straightforward, just 4 bolts front and back, and tap it with a hammer. But I had to take these 4 ball joint bolts out, and this kind of will swing out, and I'll have to hammer this, but put the nut over it so you don't mess up the threads that way, and then pull the back out from the differential. This is slid out now just with a few taps. If you're currently enjoying how your life is going, just know that if you want to keep enjoying it, do not take the front differential out of a 4Runner. This has been like the worst thing I've ever done. Everything on it's getting hung up. It's just literally hanging there right now. I'm gonna have to probably lift the motor up to get it out, just so I can drop the pan and see if my motor's completely screwed up. So I got my engine pulled out, and this is what I found. Or the engine's not pulled, the oil pan is pulled, the window tray is destroyed, pieces of rods and main bearings and stuff like that. If you move under here, you probably can't see it, but there's a hole in the block to the left. So I will be getting a new engine and pulling the accessories off this one. So now I've got the alternator out. I pulled the power steering pump off. The AC compressor is still there, so I don't know if I want to take the lines off or either leave it in here, because as you can see, maybe you can't see that, but the pulley's a little loose. I pulled the main harness out through the inside. I had to take the glove box and this little plastic cover off here, and then pull the ECU out towards me, and then all its wires pulled out through that hole up there. So I was able to get a new used motor for the 4Runner. It's out of a 02, so it has the drive-by-wire throttle body, which I'll be selling. I don't know if anything else is different, but if anything is, I'm just gonna take it off my old one and put it on this one. It's pretty high mileage at like 220,000, but I feel like if I replace everything that wears out on it, like the timing belt and the seals and gaskets and all, it should be fine. So I'm working on pulling this harness off of this new engine, and the harness runs up under this intake, so I just zip these couple bolts out, which is one here, here, and then 2 up here, and it just pulls off real easy. You also have to pull these rubber hoses off that go here as well. Intake, or the upper intake, is now off. That was super straightforward. So I got the lower intake off, which was also super easy, just 3 bolts in the middle and 2 nuts. And then I pull the old cut harness off, which is here. Typical junkyard fashion, they just sawzalled the harness, so really all this is good for is any random connectors and everything. They just yank this out the fuse box. I have this still on the bottom, but it'll just come off when I lift the motor off this tire. But now I don't know, maybe check this valve cover and put a valve cover on the other side. So a week later, I finally got the bolts to go in the engine right here to put it on a stand so I can actually get to working on it and get it off of this sketchy seatbelt deal they got going here. When they tied it at the junkyard, it's literally just rolled over. Like any kind of something can make this fall. I'm sure everybody already knows this, but I always was stupid and I always would try to line the motor up with this while it was on the stand instead of taking the stand apart and putting it on the motor, but this makes it much easier. It's now on the stand. That took a lot more than I was hoping because I forgot to pull. I guess it was all the way out and it did not want to fit between that, which is annoying, but whatever. So I keep spraying purple power on all the oil places that were really junked up with oil, like the backs of these head and everything. It looks a little bit better. It definitely won't be perfect, but it'll definitely be better than what it was. And I'm gonna have to go through and replace, I know the injectors because they are for sure different as far as connector goes. The CCs are the same, I believe, but there may be more sensors and everything I also have to replace, being that this is a 02 going in a 96, and I'll be sure to note all that and let everybody know what those are in case you're planning on doing the same thing. So I'm taking off the oil pan bolts now to check and just be completely sure that the bottom end of this is good, and to replace the gasket because I bought a Fail Pro because this is just some gooped up RTV here. Hopefully this pan comes off easy, but you know, they never do. And this probably isn't the best way to do it, but that's how I'm gonna do it. On this pan now for a little bit and it feels like it's getting close maybe. And it seems like it probably just came loose. There we go. Doesn't look like there's any kind of metal or anything on the bottom of the pan. It is a little dirty. Some water from the junkyard, looks like, because the valve cover was off while it was there, but nothing looks terrible, so that's good. All the rod bearings feel tight and everything seems fairly clean. I think this motor should be good. I'm not expecting it to be beautiful because it does have at least 225,000, but it looks way better than the one that's in it, obviously. So what are the plans and why did I buy this 4Runner? I got it because I wanted something I can drive back and forth to school, and it wouldn't really matter how many miles I put on it. My G35 keeps having a bunch of strange issues and stuff, and so I figured I'd get something else that might be a little bit more reliable and still keep the G35 obviously. But the 4Runner, I've always liked four-wheel drive Toyotas. I always wanted an older one. I have a Tacoma, but I always wanted one from the 90s that I could have, that I could beat around with and not have to worry as much, and put like the trail style suspension and all that good stuff on it, and put about a 31 to 33 inch tire. All the stuff that people normally do. I haven't decided on all that stuff yet, so that's why I'm being pretty vague. But as you've seen at the start of this video, this engine is toast in this 4Runner at 193,000 miles, which is pretty unheard of, I think, for a 3.4, but I don't know really what happened. I know two rods broke, and I guess it had to be like an oil pump failure or either something like that. as sludged up as it is, it could have been gummed up, or somebody could have never changed the oil and it ran low. I do not really know. But I went to the junkyard and I bought a new 3.4, or not a new, but a new to me. Has 225,000 is what the oil change sticker said on the 4Runner I got it out of. This was actually the lowest mile one I could find around me, which is kind of crazy, but I guess when they're 20 plus years old, you can't really expect low mileage anymore. But this one seems like it has good compression. The rod bearings seem tight. The one valve cover was off, so the cam lobes on one side are a little rusty, but I'm going to clean those up and they should work fine. The other side looks great. There's almost no sludging at all in this engine, but of course you have to expect some dirt and crap in it just from sitting. I'm going to change the timing belt, front and main seal. The kit for the timing belt comes with a water pump and pulleys and all that stuff. Also going to change the valve cover gaskets as they're prone to leak. The PCV valve I'm going to replace. I can make sure I have the right pressure. I'm going to replace the injectors, O-rings that is, because I have to swap the injectors over from that other 4Runner, and other various sensors I may have to switch over as well. Got all these parts off to do the timing belt. Our harmonic balancer was way easier to pull off than I thought. I didn't even need a puller. I just pulled on it and it come off. Had a lot of anti-seize on it, so I'm sure that helped. I'm about to remove this timing belt here. It doesn't look that bad, but I have an all new acing kit to replace all this old stuff. Just make sure it's as close to new. I'm gonna throw this clip in there real quick at the end. This is the new motor. It is now in the 4Runner, so if you want to see the process of putting this engine and this 4Runner, be sure to hit the subscribe button. That'll be out in the next video coming really soon. But if you like this video and you want to follow along with this 4Runner build right here, be sure to hit the subscribe button so you don't miss the next video. And if you have any questions about upcoming plans or anything about how to do anything with this engine swap here, be sure to put the comment down below and I'll be sure to get back with you. Thanks everybody for watching, and be sure to catch me in the next video of this 4Runner.